1917 movie review. 1917, what did I think of it? Amazing. The concept of the whole one take like movie, and yes, of course there's hidden cuts, but it still feels continuous. It feels real time, pretty much. Like, it's so great. And the acting was amazing. I think, is the guy's name Andrew McKay? I forget the lead actor. All of them were great. There were some great cameos as well. And the one thing that I really loved about this movie as well, that I just loved, was the change in scenery. You know, like, for example, you start in the trenches and you're going through the countryside and, you know, around like villages and rivers and you know, stuff like that. Like, I loved how diverse the locations were. And on the top of that, every location had a purpose, if that makes sense. Like, every destination or every part of the journey, every little stop or every little part had a very distinct moment that happened in the story that mattered. It wasn't them just going through, you know, to take the message to the part that, you know, if you've seen the trailer, you know, like, they've got to take a message to stop a attack, basically. And it wasn't just them going through these kind of like dead areas, if that makes sense. Like, there was a lot of life to those areas, and there was a lot of great story moments to those areas, and there were some great set pieces. Like, for example, without spoiling, there's a moment where they're in this like broken down French village almost, and it's nighttime, and there's fire, and the only light is the like buildings on fire and flares. And it just felt so nightmarish almost, and I haven't seen anything that vivid, not only from a, well, visual perspective, but like emotional perspective in a while. It was amazing. And the great thing about this movie is it does have its rushed moments, but it really allows itself to breathe and take those moments in a very real-time feeling way. And it gets that balance of showing that in war, especially when you're on a time basis thing, it's like, I gotta go. But it also shows you that humans are humans, and there are times where there is gonna be some breathe moments. Even if you shouldn't necessarily do it, there will be breathe moments, but that eventually you're gonna have to realize, I need to bloody go. You know, like, I loved that aspect of it as well. And just every action set piece. By the way, I saw a YouTube comment where someone said, this movie has no action. I'm sorry, dude. It has so much action. Like, it has a lot of suspense and bursts of action. Sure, it's not like a bloody Saving Private Ryan amount of action or anything, but there's a lot of action depending on what you count as action, I guess. But there's a gunfire that literally makes you jump out of your seat, dude. There's bloody like things crashing into other things, and like people chasing down other people. I mean, how is that not action? Like, what? And there's gunfights, and you know. And on that note, I loved the way they portrayed the weaponry. Just so devastating and so like scary. Like, you know, like in most movies when gunshots go off, it's like whatever. Maybe it's because I was watching an IMAX, but when gunshots go off in this movie, dude, what the fuck? You know, obviously, after the first time you hear it, it's unpleasant still, but you're not jumping in your seat. But if a shot goes off, you're gonna jump in your seat. Like, everyone in the movie theater did, dude. Like, craziness. I loved how it had this sort of like harrowing beauty in it, and that like it was so interesting to look at, but it was just so terrible. Like, they're going across no man's land, and there's these dead horses, and one of them, like, half its face is basically, its skin is like gone now, and it's got like the skull left, and like you can see it's like rib cage, but there's a bit of skin. Like, it's just so much detail, and it's very interesting, but just so stark and disgusting at the same time. Dude, I loved this damn movie. Both the main actors, and everyone else, but both the main actors really pulled their weight in this. And one other thing that I was really surprised by, maybe I shouldn't have been surprised by it, is that the music was such a highlight of the movie, honestly. Like, such a highlight. I thought the music was going to be serviceable, but you know, not like amazing, because I never really heard of the guy before, and he'd only done stuff like Finding Dory, for example, and whatever. So I didn't think the music was going to be amazing, but it really touched me. Like, and don't take that in the wrong way, okay, kids? Like, I'm listening to the soundtrack at home now. I love it. I have to say, I love it, dude. I love every aspect of this movie. From the action, from the suspense, from the characters, from the cinematography, obviously, because the one-shot thing is amazing, and it really makes you feel like you're going on a journey more than any other film. Some people are saying this is worse than Saving Private Ryan and more forgettable than Saving Private Ryan. Number one, don't compare them. They're different types of movies, okay? They're both war movies, but they're different types of movies. Number two, this movie has moments that stick with you, okay? There's some people who are saying the moments don't stick with you. I don't know what they were doing in the movie theater when I was watching the screen, but there are moments that stick with you like super glue stuck to your balls, okay? Like, geez, there are moments that stick with you in this movie. More than... I've watched Saving Private Ryan about 1,000,000 times. And yes, there's moments that stick with you in Saving Private Ryan, but for me, there are moments in 1917 that just stick with me way, way more. Maybe because I prefer the stark reality of war being shown in a way, and like how harrowing that can be, as compared to the more Hollywood characterization of stuff in Saving Private Ryan. Not that Saving Private Ryan isn't gritty, it is, but I feel like this takes the grit to a new level in a less Hollywoodized sense, and in more of a very just realistic, which makes it less like kind of thing, you know what I mean, like, oh, like, but it makes it more like visceral and kind of scary to watch in a very weird, not like scary like, oh, I'm scared, but like scary, you know what I mean, like how that crap even happened, you know. And let me just say, the story is not lacking. Yes, it's a simple story, but it is not a lacking story. I teared up at the end, okay? It is not a lacking story, dude. It's not. People say things like a lack story. A simple story doesn't mean a lacking story. It just means the story serviced what it needed to do. It wasn't overly complicated because it didn't need to be overly complicated, but it was well executed. You cared about the characters, and there was character development and story within it, and by the end, I shed a tear. So, yes, this had story. Okay, 1917, probably, not definitely, but the more I think about it, on its way to being my favorite. Not there yet, but I'm very close to getting there. Favorite war movie ever. Watch this. If you can see it in IMAX, see it in IMAX as well. That's how I saw it. Amazing experience in IMAX. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Go watch it. It is so worth your time, especially in the movie theater. So thanks everybody for watching. Discord link, Twitch link, Twitter link in the description below. And definitely go watch 1917. Comment below and let me know what you thought. 1917 movie review over, dude. Over.